A Marlins team largely made up of spare parts at this point in the season managed to manhandle a Tigers team that seems more than likely to win their division in the first two contests of a 3-game series, crushing them 8-2 in Game 1, then walking them off in the 11th inning in Game 2. This gave them a chance to sweep them right out of Miami. And with Detroit set to have a bullpen game with what was, at that point, a pretty depleted roster of hurlers, this seemed plausible. And they might have done it too, if it wasn't for one play in the second inning that featured 3 separate errors. Yes, on a single play. Colt Keith was at the plate versus righty Adam Mazur, and on a 3-1, lined a slider on one hop to first baseman Eric Wagaman, who saw it go off his leg and down the right field line. It was then chased down by Maximo Acosta, who saw base runner Spencer Torkelson trying for third, prompting him to make a 2-hop offline throw to Javier Sanoja, allowing Torkelson to get up and score. It was then that left fielder Trey Johnston went over to cut it off, but instead let it go through his legs, putting Keith, who was going to stop on second, on third. This is obviously a lot to take in immediately, so let me break down the errors if it wasn't already clear. Wagaman got one for not handling the grounder, Acosta got one for his bad throw, and Johnston put the final nail in the coffin by not being able to corral the errant toss. This is obviously horrible, right? Easily being one of the sloppiest plays you'll ever see on an MLB field, but it got even worse when, just one pitch later, catcher Dylan Dingler would single into center field, driving home the second unearned run of the inning, putting Miami in an early hole completely of their own making. The cherry on top of the effect of this moment is that these would be the only 2 runs scored for the rest of the contest, as Detroit, who has had a relatively potent offense all year, only managed to register another 3 hits, but due to some pretty good cobbled-together pitching from Cater Montero and a few other arms out of that Detroit pen, including Jose Urquidy, who was pitching in his first game in 2 years, the Marlins would end up getting shut out, dropping Detroit's magic number to 7 to win their first division title since 2014. And now, before we go, I wanted to give a shout out to Junior Caminero for launching his 44th home run of the season yesterday, and as pointed out by Sarah Langs on Twitter, he's going to end up being a top 4 youngest player ever, with 40+ home runs in a season by his age on the final day of the year. That's a truly incredible accomplishment, and gives the Rays a solid superstar to build around for the first time since that guy. Alright everybody, if you made it this far, I appreciate you watching, and if you did, consider checking out any of these other videos on your screen right now for other content just like this. Also, if you ever see anything you'd like to see me detail in the video, feel free to reach out to my email, basebpoet@gmail.com, and if I end up using your idea, I'll give you a shout out. Thanks for watching, have a great rest of your day.